What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Karla.
And I'm Amanda. We're two sisters, two moms, tackling one book at a time.
We got some good chapters in. We finally got to meet one of the princesses.
We did. Oh, and I like her. I do.
I
And
did
we
too.
also got to
I
meet
really didn't want
Gretchen's.
to.
You didn't want to? I did. I'm excited for the next princesses and all these princesses to show up. But I was excited that we got to meet Gretchen's sister. Not her sister-in-law, but her sister.
Which
That
Gretchen
was
made it sound like her brother was the Baron of, what was it, Lilliton or something? Yeah, Lilton.
yeah. Let's get this started.
Let's do it.
Okay. So we left off with Max leaving us for his hunting trip. And then he left his sister's quotes in charge to take care of Alyssa and everything and make sure that she feels comfortable during this court time with all these high royal people coming in and out of the palace and everything. And then we open up our podcast now. When we ended the last episode, we got to meet a few characters too, but now we're actually really meeting the characters. So out of them, it was Marissa
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, we have
Helen
Lady Marissa and Clarice. I
and
remember.
Clarice, yes. And then we
And they
have
were friends.
those two are friends, but Marissa and Gretchen are friends too, right? That's why Marissa doesn't like Alyssa, because Gretchen was talking all this nonchalant, like making Alyssa sound really bad, right?
Yeah, I gathered that Gretchen, because now we've come to find out that Gretchen is I, she's the sister of Lady Helena, who is married to Gregory, who is the Baron for Lilton. So Gretchen's not really part of that royalty, because I think Lady Helena was saying that like her family wasn't, they were like the lowest of the low when it came to the royalty or something. And so people weren't really sure about her marriage to this Gregory guy, but they were in love anyways. So, but they never fully accepted Gretchen as
Yes.
like part of the royalty. So the way I kind of interpreted it was that Gretchen is trying to find a way to fit in. So she talks like she's part of royalty, and she tries to make herself seem like she's all important, when in reality, I don't think people care for her very much. So it doesn't surprise me that she went back and started talking a bunch of crap about Alyssa, because it seems like she's just trying to provide information to royalty people so she can be like, see, I'm your friend, I'm part of this. But I don't know if
Mhm.
she's really all that much friendly with Marissa, even though, I mean, let's be honest, who wants to be friends with Marissa? I wouldn't want to be friends with Marissa. She sounds like a pain.
I don't even think Marissa wants to be friends with Marissa. I don't know. It's just, yeah, her story was kind of sad after her sister explained it, because she even said she wasn't always this way. It was after I married Gregory that she became this way. And like you said before, it's because the higher nobles like accepted me but not her. So I do see like that whole jealousy situation going down, but it was so weird that she kind of passed her sister off as a sister-in-law to make it seem like Gregory is her brother,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
to
she said,
kind of.
my brother is the Baron of Lilton, when
Yes.
really it's like your brother-in-law. Like,
Yes.
I mean, that's a little different,
Weird.
if you're talking in terms of being like part of royalty. It's one thing, for even you and I to be like, oh well, we're sisters, but I mean, if we're technically sister-in-laws, but we're talking about royalty. And if she's gonna put herself, I'm talking about Gretchen, if Gretchen is gonna put herself on the pedestal of being part of royalty, being a sister-in-law, I don't think really classifies you in that same category. Your family
No.
with royalty, maybe in a sense, but you're not really that royalty person. So I find that Gretchen's words meant to be a little bit of like, I'm going to show you that I'm better than you. And she kind of failed meeting the mark when Alyssa found out the actual truth of Gretchen's past and
And what was
who
she
she is.
thinking? Yeah, did she not think that like all this is gonna unfold? Or do you think Like, because to me, it's like, that's a pretty big lie. Do you really think somebody's not gonna say anything? You didn't think she was gonna run into her sister? Or do you think that your sister was gonna have, like, a closed mind about Alyssa and be like, I don't even wanna talk to you or deal with you because like, all this drama, you know?"
Yeah, it
So
could be
ballsy
why
part.
Gretchen, yeah, it could be why Gretchen went back because she probably initially thought that Alyssa's not coming back to the summer palace. Like this is just a temporary winter palace thing. She's not going to come back. And then when she finds out that she was returning with everyone to the summer palace, maybe that's why she went back and started spreading all these bad lies about Alyssa because she doesn't want Alyssa to really either maybe find out about her true heritage with the royal family, or she just genuinely just didn't care for Alyssa and wanted to get a head start on making sure no one else liked her too. You have to think of it too also in the terms of a jealousy factor. We see it all the time where you have friends, you might be friends with people, and a new person comes along and sometimes you're like, you can't, I've worked my way up in this group, you can't step in here and think that you can just take over and jump in past me. So Gretchen could be thinking of it as, I am not really accepted by all these royalty people. So if I'm not accepted, then I'm going to make sure you're not accepted because you passing over me says something bad about me. It says that I
So
wasn't good enough for
fast.
them.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
passed him up so fast too. So yeah, I would be jealous. But we do see that Helena has an open mind because she goes, "I've been watching you the past couple of days, and you are nothing like what she described you to be." And then she's like, "I want you to come over to my house tonight." So that was
Mhm.
like a really sweet moment where it was just all like, "Wow, thanks for having an open mind and thanks for not just shoving me out of the way like how we see Marissa is doing." 'Cause she's a
Yeah.
snobby little thing, huh? But it was cute how
Marissa
she goes,
is like
"Come."
her own little crazy.
Oh, oh. Yeah, 'cause Helena's like, "Come over to my house, Marissa's not gonna be there." And then we do see the queen acting a little, like, very, generous to Alyssa, like, "Oh, yes, stay out all night, go have fun, take one of the royal carriages," and yeah, and then they show up at Helena's house, and what did you think of the character Rivers?
I pictured him as your typical little playboy guy, right? The guy who's like
Who's
flirting with
funny.
every girl. He never has a girlfriend because he's constantly like meeting a girl and then he gets his way with her and then he moves on to the next. Like you can't tie the guy down. That's kind of what I gathered from him. And of course, he's flirting with Alyssa because I feel like every guy that Alyssa runs into sees her beauty and tries to flirt with her. But he was an interesting character. What did you think of him?
I thought he was hilarious because at first I was reading it, he's all like talking to the girls, and the girls are like, "Oh, if you want, what did they say? If you want like recognition or something from us, like you're at the wrong house. You should have went to like Marissa and I forgot the other girls' names. Like go hang out with them." And then
Clarice.
yeah, he kind of had like the pouty face, like what did he say? Like, "They don't appreciate me," or something, and he kind of got up and walked away
Yeah,
or something. He's like, "Okay, I'm not getting what I want from these girls, so I'm leaving." I was just like, "Wow."
but we see that Alyssa got really close with well, she said that she kind of walked away with at least a couple friends, Helena, which would be obviously Gretchen's sister, the one who threw this gathering, and then also Beth, who she met.
Yes,
We actually met her last chapter. Elizabeth, yeah, she's the redhead.
yes, she
That
was nice. She was nice to her.
yeah, Alyssa's like a mental note to remember to talk to her when I'm not around all the other girls, which she does. And Beth seems like that sweet girl that kind of wants to get along with everyone. She doesn't want to have enemies. She just wants to be friends with everybody. So I can tell that her and you know what I almost pictured as? I almost pictured as like, is this your new Matilde? Because we're not seeing much of Matilde anymore. So
Yeah,
maybe this is like the royalty version of Matilde.
maybe. Yeah, Matilda hasn't popped up, has she?
No, I was wondering what happened to her.
She went to the ocean and never came back. I'm
She's
kidding.
probably still mad about Claude.
Claude. Oh, I'm so mad. Which I am gonna put a series since you mentioned Claude. I We'll get to it when we get to that part, but I think that you're right about the aunt being a part of it, but I think it's more the cousin The cousin is involved. The cousin
Oh,
is part of everything because he was out helping something with the tavern and he'll be back in a couple of weeks or something. And then when he shows up, I'm like, well, where did you go? What were you doing? You know? I don't know. We'll get to it when we
should
get to it
should
though. But
we?
that's my pin.
I was I was gonna say, should we
I want
pin
to
that up on our board?
right next to the ant. I want him pinned right
Yeah,
next to the ant.
we're gonna have
So
to keep our eyes close on this aunt and son, or I guess aunt and cousin duo going on here, because I do feel like there's a little more to their characters than what we're led on to believe. Watch, they have absolutely nothing to do with this, but you and I, we
we like
like
to make it more
to keep our
interesting
eyes on
though.
people. I know.
Yeah. And then what happened? Was it yeah, it was recently where she got a messenger or something that her clothes are finally
Mhm.
here. So she goes and she has to pick up all these packages with all her clothes and guess who she runs into?
Max is back early, and he's not
And guess
alone.
I know, I was like, guess who was not happy about that interaction with it? And I'm like, "Oh, girl, you are feisty," because it was Marissa, right? She was just all like,
Yeah, because
because Alyssa was like, "Can you
yeah,
help me, Max? Like, you see me struggling," and she's like, "He is not your bellboy," like with attitude. And then the fact that she called him Max, and she got even more mad. Oh my
I mean,
gosh!
that's just like an unfortunate series of events that's happening to Alyssa, where she's like treating Max as if he was maybe more of a butler, and then she calls him Max. But we also know that Marissa has had a crush on Max since they were like 12 or something. And she's like, I'm following all the protocols. And she's telling everybody like how unhappy she is about this princess coming, and how she doesn't agree with this whole him marrying a princess type rule. But yeah, she definitely lays it in on Alyssa. And also, I think she, because if you think about it, it's like, why are you angry at Alyssa? Because it's not like she's one of, and Alyssa even points this out, she's not one of the contenders for Max to marry. But we still see Marissa is treating her bad. And I think Marissa sees something that maybe some of the others don't, and she can see this connection forming, or at least she sees something, because the fact that she
Yeah,
calls Max Max, she's probably like, I can't even call him Max. And I'm going to be his, hopefully his wife someday. In her mind, that's what she's thinking. So,
yeah. Well,
there is a
what was
huge
it?
jealousy factor.
um Gretchen, remember Gretchen put all this bad stuff in her head already. So as she's seeing it kind of unfold, like, wow, she really is improper with him. That is not okay. Like, who are you to call the prince
Mhm.
Max? Like, you're just because
Yeah.
doesn't she
She
keep
wants to knock her
reminding
down a
her
peg.
a lot? I feel like that's what she's doing. Like, she's definitely not fixing this woman's crown. She wants to destroy her. But yeah, I think after that whole scene though, because then we have Nate and Felix. I'm so sorry. I feel bad because now I'm rooting for Felix and Alyssa right now. And I know it's not gonna happen, but Felix is my man. We have Felix and Nate kind of like, oh wow, like in front of her, like you must be the famous Alyssa he's always talking about. You are so much prettier in person, or like whatever they're doing. And of course, like being very
Yeah.
flirtatious and stuff and fighting over to see who's gonna carry her bags. But I did kinda like it. I wish I was the fly on the wall to see Marissa's face, because he said, "You guys rushed or something," and he grabbed Alyssa's arm and they walked away. So, clearly in my head, you left Marissa. I wanna know what her face was. I wanna know what her thought process was when you were kinda being a jerk to Alyssa, and now all of a sudden, you just took my prince away from me, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you also have Alyssa asking, like, you never answered my question. What are you doing back early? And you see Max and or Max, you see Nate and Felix jump in, and they're like, well, he says it's because we were supposed to come back early in preparation of the princess to come, Princess Marie, as we know, who's going to be one of the people in line for suitors for Max. But they're like, we don't really buy that. He seemed like he was a little unsettled by things, and he wanted to return early, which I know, and I think you can agree that this had to do with Alyssa being at the Summer Palace and him worried about how she's going to fit in with other people and how people were going to treat her. Because he's probably worried that if people treat her bad, that she'll want to leave. And if she leaves,
He'll never
he's going
say
to be
goodbye.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I like those 2 characters, but yeah, that was the fun part of it. So, but then, what happens after that? Doesn't she get on top of her Starfire horse and then goes to see her aunt, and then we kinda see Max getting
So
upset.
we see we see Alyssa goes, the king calls for Alyssa to go
That's right.
into his office, and in his office he's like, I want to talk to you. And Max is a little confused at first because he's like, why does my dad want to see Alyssa? And in my mind I was thinking he doesn't know what's going on, so he's probably thinking like, is she in trouble, what's happening? Because again, he doesn't want to see Alyssa go. And he seems very protective of Alyssa and who she's around. And so Alyssa goes in, and the king is like, I want to show you something. And he has this key, and he shows her like this hidden passage. He has to like, I envision in my mind where he grabs like the candlestick, right? And he pulls it down, and then the walls open up, and there's like a secret passage, but it's this small room. And she goes in, and he unlocks it with the key. They go inside this room, and you have these holes, right, that are on the wall. And it's clearly holes where you can see through into the king's office. When I first read it, I was like, oh, they're going to be spying on the palace. Like, this is kind of smart, right? You have the all these rooms, and so maybe this room is like in the center of a bunch of different rooms, so you can, I pictured like that painting, when you're looking through the painting
Oh
with the
gosh, and the eyes
eyes.
are following you?
Yeah, that's
Creepy.
kind of what I was thinking. I was like, oh, this is what it is. But then we come to find out that it wasn't to spy around the castle. It's actually to spy in the king's office. And Alyssa was just as confused as I was, where I'm like, why do you need a pair of eyes? Like, why do you need someone to spy on you in your office if you know somebody's in there spying on you? Like, it didn't make sense to me. But then the king explains it, and he's like, a lot of people like to meet with me as the king, and it can sometimes feel a little insulting if I have my royal guards with me. So this way, I'm able to have people spy and watch on the meetings and kind of gather information, because it's hard as a single person to interpret what people are saying to me, and to not only get the information that they're trying to tell me, like, we're having a conversation, I need to be paying attention to your conversation, but at the same time I should be paying attention to your mannerisms and the things that you're not saying. And so to have that backup of people to watch helps out. And we also find that his great grandfather or somebody had a meet,
Down his
he would,
line.
yeah, he was meeting with, I can't remember who it was, but somebody of importance also. And they insisted that he met without anyone else in the room. And so the grandfather hid some of his guards in this room to watch the meeting, and whoever this person ended up getting angry and went to pretty much, I think, choke the king, or he was suffocating the king.
Here,
So
yeah,
his,
here.
yeah, so his guards came running out and saved the king. So it seems like it's something that maybe has been passed down to each king, like, make sure you have guards in there to watch. So we see that the king is now going to have guards in here as people are coming to talk with him, because they need to figure out who Claude was working for. And we
Mhm.
can't find Claude, which we know Claude is no more. But
But
he
they
needs to
don't know
figure out
that,
this.
like, whew,
Right.
I would be scared if I was the king, because you don't know that he's dead yet, and all of a sudden you have this traitor who is loose. Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
is kinda you better watch
Yeah.
out.
And he wants Alyssa in there with his guards to spy on whoever he has coming in to meet with him. And to be honest, I think it's smart. If I have to give my opinion on it, I consider it pretty smart, because people aren't going to be as upfront and honest with the king if you have guards and security in there. So, one of the best ways to probably find your enemy and to figure out who's plotting against you is to meet with them privately, but it's not really private because you have people who
Yeah.
are watching. But I do have a little theory, um,
Oh,
that I'll explain a little later, that kind of came into my mind, and I'm wondering your thoughts on it, but we'll talk about it when we get there. It does have to do with the secret room, though.
I do like the secret room. Okay. Okay, yeah, no, that was a fun, part and everything because she even said that she kinda forgot that he even asked her to help him spy and everything, so then I feel like all her nerves came back up and everything, so
Hmm.
it was
Yeah,
a
and then
good.
this is when Alyssa goes to see her aunt.
To
and meet
meet
her
her
cousin.
cousin, yeah, for the first time, and we see that, Max is very possessive in this little scene because he does not want her to go. He was worried, "Where's your guards?" Like, and all this stuff, so, like how you said before with, Nate and Felix, he probably did come back early to be with her, now she's leaving him, and he probably didn't know
Hmm.
how to handle his emotions on that one. But then she kind of said, I wouldn't be going if it wasn't safe. My aunt said the guard for you, not for me, but for you. And then he just said, I keep forgetting that you're not family, which I thought was a
Yeah,
low blow. And not only did he
it
say that,
was.
but he smacked the horse's butt. So then she couldn't even like answer or say anything to
Respond.
that. I was like, yeah, why? Like, why would you? That is so hurtful. I keep forgetting you're
And
not
did you
part of the
find it?
family.
Yeah, and did you find it interesting that I think this is the day that Princess Marie is arriving. So Max's focus isn't to prepare himself, get himself ready, be ready for when this princess comes. His focus is at the horse with Alyssa. He went all the way down there to be like, where are you going? And why don't you have security with you? Like his focus is clearly not where it should be. And Alyssa, the whole reason Alyssa's really leaving to go see her aunt, because she even says it hasn't been a week since because she told her aunt she would come like once a week, and she's like, it hasn't really
Mhm.
been a week, but I don't really want to be here when Princess Marie arrives because one, there's no need for me. The princesses don't need me. And two, let's be honest, she doesn't want to watch Max meet this girl who could be a potential suitor for him. So she's like, I'm leaving. And then he stops her and he's like, where are you going? Like, you see this push and pull between these two characters. Clearly, you guys want to be together. Clearly, you guys like each other. Like, we see it as outsiders, and I just root for them so much.
Yeah, they are they are something, but I like Felix right now too, so I hope we see something going on with Felix. He seems like a nice guy, but I don't think it's gonna happen, so I'll just keep my happiness to myself, I guess, and I guess we'll just go to the what is it called? The Blue Inn. Let's just go hang out at the Blue Inn for a little bit and meet this
Yeah.
cousin, which I thought was hilarious how these two moms, which are sisters, of course, were kind of upping their kids a lot. And then you have jealousy on both sides. So that's like me honestly saying, my two boys are so great. They're so polite and everything, but you only have one, right? And then you writing back to me, oh, that's great because I don't even have to ask my son to do anything for me, but we're both lying to each other. Like, oh, look at your cousins could behave very well. You need to behave very well. And I'm just like, wow, you guys just destroyed these poor kids.
I know. I almost like right when I read it, I was like, "Oh, clever moms!" Like trying, like almost using the other family. Like I could see these two moms like going, "Hey, let's tell our children that the other child is doing so good, so it really helps prompt my kid to be better." And really, you have these two cousins. Well, they're not really two because it's one cousin, and then you have these other four boys because Alyssa wasn't really included in that, who are all jealous of each other. And Alyssa's like, "I can't wait to meet this incredible cousin of mine who
She's
is
all
supposed to
timid.
be this great guy." Yeah. And then she finds out that he's just as normal as they are. And
And he
yeah,
finds out that
it's
she
quite
is
funny.
just as normal because he's all like, wow, you are so intimidating. And she's like, what, me? Why? So it was fun. But I find him kind of fishy, and I hope I'm wrong because Alyssa even made a remark as when she got back from the king or the prince. He was kind of jealous, but she did make a mark that my family has showed loyalty. So just the fact that I feel like that line is going to come back to bite her in the butt
Hmm.
somehow
Yeah.
with the prince or the
Well, and
king.
like again, we could be totally reading into this. We really could. So who those of you who have read it, please don't freak out on us. But if I'm really thinking about it, I do feel like the aunt and the cousin, or maybe just one or the other, sees Alyssa as maybe access into the royal family, and they're happy about that. But again, this could just be a simple. aunt and cousin who are just happy for their family member.
Well, they probably both have the gold. It was just weird timing how Alyssa was on her way to go see her aunt, and then all of a sudden you have these people going to the castle wanting information on the royalties. Was the aunt wondering like, "Oh, this is my ticket," or the cousin, you know? So one of the two was probably thinking, "Is this my ticket way in?" Because now I have somebody actually who's related to me into the palace right now. Because the aunt didn't really seem like she was worried about, um, Alyssa, and then the cousin didn't really seem like too impressed that he was worried, that she was working there. All he wanted to do was kinda, "Can you take me back to the palace?" type thing, you know?
Like his
So I
he wanted to go and check out the well, like he probably I don't know, maybe I'm thinking into it, but well, let's see how you get to the like the ins and outs of getting into the palace, right?
Yeah, which route do you take? Who lets you in? Maybe if they see my face, I could just say, "Oh, I'm Alyssa's cousin. You saw me escort her the other night." So it was just very weird how he's like, "Oh, I can't have you go by yourself." Well, clearly she's been doing it because she sees her aunt once a week. And then clearly she got to you by herself. So why does she need you?
Mhm.
Maybe he was being nice. I
Yeah.
could be overreading this, but there's something fishy about him right now.
I know later Alyssa goes to her cousin and is like kind of fishing for a job, and he's like, "Oh, why? You don't like the palace anymore? You're not liking
Not
being with the
happy?
royalty people?" So I feel like if we start to see the cousin and the aunt pushing back on Alyssa and maybe saying, "You should really consider keeping this job. It would be really good for you." Then maybe we can start to see some type of concoction planning from them. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with this aunt and cousin. But again, we're gonna keep our eyes on these two.
Ugh, it makes me nervous. But then we do see that she loses track of time and everything. And she's like, "Oh no, I have to go back for the girls because this is not the time for the girls to be getting into mischief or being seen, let alone." So that's when they do go back. And then the princesses, I feel like, are like, excuse me, where have you been? Because we are not allowed to leave our room without you. And they've been cooped up in their bedrooms. They
Yeah.
seem all mad. And
And
then,
Max is jealous. Do you see that? When she
yeah,
shows back
so
up,
jealous.
he sees her from a distance and it's funny because you see both of them like staring at each other from a distance, and Alyssa spots the princess and then she sees Max and then she's just like, "Ugh, all right, I'm gonna go put my horse away. Like I it is what it is." And then obviously, again, we see Max, who should be paying attention to this princess who he's gonna meet and possibly fall in love with. But his eyes are set far off in the distance at Alyssa and who she's with. So he immediately gets jealous and he immediately goes to find her and he's like, "Who are you with?" Like,
Right? That's strike 2 for you, Maxi boy.
I know you're
Like,
getting yourself in
very,
trouble.
because yeah, like, calm down, who cares if like, focus on your princess. You got this beautiful, tall princess with beautiful lock curls and everything. Focus on her. She's foreign
Well,
and
and
she came very far.
according to Alyssa, she wasn't that pretty.
I know. Well, isn't that what they were all, like, talking about because she's not your typical princess or anything? Which I
Mhm.
thought was kind
Yeah,
of, it was fun to see. I like her. So, I mean, I guess we'll just wait.
grew to like Princess Marie, but I'm not gonna lie. At first, I almost like had myself put in Alyssa's shoes, and I was like, "No, you're not Alyssa. Sorry, like you might be royalty, but like I've been here longer, so it's time for you to
Gosh,
go." Like
I need you to
she's
shoo off my page, please. But we do see Max coming to talk to Alyssa and says, "Hey, tomorrow we get to all sleep in, but my dad needs you in his office at like 10 a.m." I'm like, "Sleep
hmm
in till 10 a.m., bro? Like, what?" I wish
What's
I could sleep until 10 a.m.
like who gets up at 10? Well, I guess if you're not a mom and I don't know. I do remember when I was younger sleeping in till 10
Till
or
like
11,
2.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
she has her breakfast and she goes into, which I was really excited about what the queen says. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Take it back
Yes.
a notch. We do see Alyssa wakes up. She has her breakfast. She goes, meets the king. He has his captain and a few of the people he trusts the most. And then He goes, "We're having a meeting at 10. This is what's gonna happen." So they go into that secret room, and he's doing whatever he's doing, and our queen comes up. And our queen is very sad. Like, she's sad because Princess Marie slept beautifully that night.
Alyssa's
Clearly.
so confused.
Yeah.
She's like, what? She's like, isn't that a good thing? Like, shouldn't she be getting great sleep? I was
She's
like
like,
hoping
"What is
Alyssa would
happening?"
connect the dots. Yeah.
And she
But it's
didn't,
funny how
right?
yeah, she like barges in and she's like, Princess Marie slept so good. This is so bad. And I'm like, okay, I
But I
guess if
like
you are
their
an outsider not knowing, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, but the king and the queen, clearly the king knows what's going on because he looks at her and then looks at the like, with his eyes just moving at the secret door, and she's like, "Oh, I'll come back later." So I feel like the king
Hmm.
knows. Like, he probably
Yeah.
knows her story and everything, and he knows what she's doing now too, because he's all like, "Girl, you there's people in there, you better be quiet. Like, don't blow your
Yeah. I
cover."
think the king is probably focused more on making sure that his, like, whoever this, the, what are they
The
called? The
delegators are the
well, the people, like, yes, I feel like he's focused really a lot on the delegates, but then I think he's also focused on who these people are that are working against him in the kingdom. So his focus is like, the kingdom and the things happening and trying to figure out what's going on. And then the queen's priority is finding the right suitor for her son, which I think in turn all will end up kind of connecting one way or another, because we need to make sure that Max doesn't end up with maybe one of the so on and so forth called villains, right? Somebody who's on the wrong side, who's working against the crown. And then the king is also trying to prevent them from invading on a different angle. So I think at one point they're going to come together as far as their ultimate goals. But yeah, I think they're both kind of focused on separate things, but know each other's plans.
Mm, yeah. I just thought it was funny because then after the meeting, Alyssa was all like, "Oh no, he seemed genuine and everything," but she wanted more information about what the queen was talking about. And then she didn't want to push it. So that was it. And now she has this she's probably going to go over it over and over again. Like, why does she not want the princess to sleep comfortably? Why was she all like kind of upset about the
Yeah.
situation and everything?
Like,
So
is that why the bed was so bad? No, I'm just kidding.
right? I would have been like, "Oh," but now it's
Now,
really too late to say anything because, girl, months have gone by. Like, they're gonna be like, "Okay,
right?
you figured out what we were trying to do, and now you wanna say something?"
Now, I was going to say, so this is what I was kind of talking about earlier about this room. So the king stresses so we heard him the first time stressing to Alyssa, like, this room is top secret. Nobody can know about it. He's very, he pinpoints this whole scenario he's got going on where he's like, I'm gonna have people spying. He doesn't want anyone to know about it, which makes sense, right? Because if people know about it, then the plan doesn't really work. But we also see from a reader's perspective that he's stressing the same thing to his guards.
Mhm, to the
Now,
captain.
right. Now we see that there's three guards, because only she said like three guards plus her. It felt really cramped in this room. And he says, I picked my most trusted guards. As a reader, I would just assume that this couldn't be his very first time having the guards in there. I mean, maybe, I guess he could have, but I feel like this is something that he has probably used before. And so it's like we as the readers are seeing him stress again to his guard, nobody can know about this, right? You told the people you selected to be in there with you, right, that nobody can know about this secret room and nobody can know what my plan is and what I'm doing. So there's a part of me that kind of wonders if one of these guards might end up being on the other side, might end up being one of the villains. And the only reason I think that is because we saw that Claude was able to maneuver his way in. He was hired, he passed the barriers as far as making his way into work with the royals. And the king makes a comment earlier where he's like, oh, yeah, my son told me that we need to work on our hiring process if Claude was able to manage to get his way in. And that also is something that we talked about before, where we said there's probably more people who are working for the king that are on the other side. because we do know that when Claude was talking, because I'm going back a lot, but when Claude was talking to whoever that mysterious person was in the woods, that they have people who are still spying on the king from the inside. So it makes me wonder if one of these guards may eventually turn out to be evil and the other side knows about the plans about somebody being behind the wall. I don't know. Just something to throw out.
Oh, what if it's the captain? Oh,
Could be.
no. That
And
would
he
suck.
brought his
Yeah,
most
no.
trusted guards, right? He could have
Yeah.
picked three guards who are on his side. I don't know. Again, we could be reading into it, but it's just something to think about moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep an eye on the guards now. Just keep an eye on the entire palace. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. But
Everyone who's not Alyssa. I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
Alyssa has our graces. And oh, we get to go to a ball tonight. That's gonna be
Oh,
exciting. I
get your
was
gown
very
on. We're
excited.
going to a ball.
Yeah. Yep. We get to go to a ball and then we get to see our Felix kind of show Alyssa how to dance properly because the twins have been trying to show her how to dance and everything. But as she gets down there, she does say it feels a little different than being with the girls and with all these people. And oh man, can you imagine just how she said it's like a fairy tale, how pretty everybody just looked, and then they were probably all just waltzing together, and I was so excited for that part, so we get to see Felix and her dance, we get to see her, our Alyssa and Rivers dance, Alyssa and, who's the other boy? She was dancing with the boy who wasn't
Alan.
confident. Alan, who wasn't confident. She's like, "Oh, is this must how I've been dancing too?" But then he gets even more shaken up when our Maxie takes away his dance from her.
Yeah, well, Max was watching the entire time, and you could see the jealousy. Again, going back to he's supposed to be paying attention to other things, but he's focused on Alyssa, and they kind of play it off as, well, Matt, look at Max. Poor Max over there is doing the adult stuff while we're over here having fun and dancing with each other, and he can't partake in that with us. And no, we
Yeah.
know he's really jealous. He wants to dance with Alyssa.
But that was fun. But yeah, he cut into dance and she's like the king was giving a speech because as they were dancing to each other, the room kind of disappears and I feel like they imagine that it's just those two dancing while the king is giving a speech and everything and she doesn't hear an announcement for an engagement and then our princess comes out. It doesn't hear an announcement for an engagement, which dang it, we skipped a part. So there was a part where
Okay.
they all go down to the beach and Alyssa doesn't care
Yes.
because this is her first time at the beach and she's playing in the beach. And then Marissa says a nasty comment then the princess is just like, "I'll go play in the water with you too." So she gets in the water and she goes, "Don't worry, I have a Marissa at my court too." So they kind of become
Hmm.
closer friends and everything. So I thought that was a sweet moment and I can't believe we forgot about it. But let's move forward now because the princess doesn't say anything about an engagement and Alyssa wants to go talk to her because now she's kind of feeling like, well, what the heck just happened? And that's where
Hmm.
our princess makes the remark, I can't take my friend's man because I do want to be your friend. So it's like, dang.
Well,
But we'll still have an alliance.
Princess
So
Mar yeah, if Princess Marie, and Alyssa says the same thing, if she was able to see my feelings for Max, then everybody has to see it. And it's true. I mean, I don't, the only person who I feel like is not seeing Max's feelings for Alyssa is Alyssa, because Alyssa keeps mistaking his actions for like, oh, he's just being an older brother. And I'm like, Alyssa, older
because she's
brothers don't
so
get jealous
far
like that.
down on the food chain where he's like way up here, there's no way in a million years that somebody way down here could even get to that stature. So I would probably
Hmm.
feel the same way too, but we clearly could tell that she has feelings for him because she got a
Yeah.
little excited when she didn't hear the engagement. She was very happy when he came back. She was sad when he left. She felt lonely when he was gone. So, girl, just admit
Yeah.
it already. You're in love with the guy. But Princess Marie was like, "You need to write me. I want to know everything." So I do
Yeah.
see that's not the end of Princess Marie. I feel like they're gonna come closer in a friendship.
Hmm. Well, really, I mean, Princess Marie, the alliance between her kingdom, I don't know if it's her kingdom, but the alliance between where she's from and the king and their kingdom, it would be a really powerful alliance. Even
Mhm.
Alyssa mentions that they would be perfect for each other because if they were to get engaged and get married, then you have this kingdom that's strong. And Alyssa's like, I wouldn't even be needed because nobody is going to want to try to come against the kingdom with these two kingdoms united. So it's funny how the mom obviously is ignoring all of these, or the queen, I should say, is ignoring all of these reasons. And she's just like, well, she didn't feel the pee. So
But she has a
next, who
big
else is there?
influence on Max because even
Yeah.
Max, she asked about it, and Max is all like, "Well, my mom just," but I forgot exactly what he said, but in the end, it was like, "My mom just didn't approve of her." So,
Yeah, my mom didn't think she was a good fit
yeah,
because I think Max would isn't going to want to fight against marrying somebody that he's not in love
he was
with.
probably yeah, he was probably
And
like, "Thank God, I'm down. Let's not do it."
yeah, like that's cool, mom. Thanks, because I wasn't feeling it either. But you did get your princess. Remember how I think it was last episode, you said, I want to find a princess that is nice, that Alyssa gets along with, and that's exactly who we
Yeah,
found. Is we
'cause
found Princess Marie, who was a sweet girl and got along with Alyssa.
yeah, it happened so fast. So
Now,
what is that the
I
end?
was
Are the other 3 gonna be jerks? And I'm gonna be like, "Oh gosh, let's get out of here.
Well,
Let's go work."
that's the thing is I can't say that every princess is going to be like Princess Marie. I think we are going to run into somebody who's probably going to be similar to Lady Marissa, who doesn't like Alyssa, who thinks she's, too good and deserves to be the queen. And that might end up being somebody who is on the enemy side. Or for all we know, it could be somebody like Princess Marie who gets along great with them and she's really hidden and working underneath the radar as a spy. So I mean, we really don't know what to expect,
It's
but I do
Marissa.
think that, yeah,
Marissa's
I
gonna
do think
scare
we're
all
going
the
to run into,
princesses away.
but yeah, I think Marissa's job is to, I don't know, but I think that we are going to see some not so friendly princesses coming in next, but we know the next princess doesn't even come for a month. I was like, a month? Wow.
A lot could happen in a month. Like, these 2 are gonna get
Yeah,
super close. I'm
I
very
know.
curious to see Marissa because she seems like she just pops out of nowhere 24/7. So
Yeah,
she
well, she
is
just
like
follows Alyssa around everywhere.
yeah. So I'm very curious. Is she like our new Nikki? Like, is she our gossip? And I wonder, is Gretchen with them? I can't remember. Because are these 2 gonna be feeding off each other in the next couple of there's so much drama going through my head that hasn't even happened, that might not even happen, but I don't know if I was just like, "I want the drama." Like, gosh.
I guess we're going to find out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So for all our followers who are following along, we are gonna read the next 4 chapters. So that's 21, 22, 23, 24.
And yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Is there anything you wanted to talk about before we end the episode?
No.
That's like, where's,
No, but we love you
where's,
guys.
I was like, what's happening? I'm like, I don't know what to do when you don't say your line. I'm lost. I'm like, huh. And if you are listening to us on Spotify or Apple, make sure that you are subscribed and that you're following us. Please leave us a comment. We love to hear what you guys think about the episode. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Make sure to like this. Make sure to leave a comment. Any type of the engagements from any of the platforms really helps boost the podcast. So we would love to get more people reading along with us. And if you're not already, make sure you check us out on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Make sure to check out our Indie Author Wednesday posts so we can help promote any indie authors. And if you are an indie author or you know someone who's an indie author, please send us a DM because we would love to include you with any future indie author posts that we do just to help get out your book and share any information we can because we just love to support indie authors because we know how hard you guys work. But other than that, I guess we will see you guys on the next chapter.
Bye.